Searching for the best educational experience for your child in the Lehigh Valley? At St. Michael the Archangel, we will assist your child in reaching their full potential in a safe, nurturing environment where respect and safety are our priority. We don't just teach students, we inspire leaders by developing strong Christian values while achieving academic excellence. St. Michael the Archangel School, nurturing students, challenging minds, inspiring faith-filled leaders. St. Michael the Archangel School, the total package.
We are in the kitchen, and we're here with Mario from the Newburgh Deli. And Mario, thank you for taking a minute to be with us today. You know, you're going to educate us a little bit on olive oil and how it works. But let's talk, first of all, a little bit about the Newburgh Deli. Who are you, and what have you been doing? Because a lot of people are now familiar with the Newburgh Deli.
We are. Thank you, Art, for the opportunity to talk about this subject I'm very passionate about. I own the Newburgh Deli. It's located in Nazareth, Pennsylvania. I run it with my wife. It's sort of a mom and pop little sandwich shop eatery. It's gotten a lot of good reviews on the internet. We just won this Cheesesteak of the Year award for the Lehigh Valley, so we're pretty excited about the exposure Deli's had, and today we're going to talk a little bit about some cooking applications and a subject that's near and dear to my heart, which is olive oil.
Well, let's talk about olive oil. First of all, a little background. You know a little bit about olive oil for a couple of reasons. You did some extensive research on it.
I have. In the year 2000, I picked up my family. I did something very unusual. I moved my wife and 3 children to Europe. I spent a considerable amount of money living in Greece and in Italy, predominantly in the Peloponnesian region and southern Italy, studying the craft and the artistry of olive oil. I wanted to find out, how's this stuff made? Where does it come from? What's true olive oil? And the reason I did that is because I discovered 7 years ago that someone hasn't been telling us the truth about olive oil and how we use it, and I wanted to find out the facts about true oil. So I picked up and moved to Europe, and there's so much to learn about this topic.
Well, I know you have a lot to tell us on this segment, so why don't you move along and run it the way you'd like to? What would you like to start with? I mean, we have different kinds of oil here today.
Well, first of all, olive oil in general, who uses it? It's always been, associated with Italians and Spaniards and people of the like in Mediterranean, but it's really becoming mainstream in the world. For example, a few stats. The olive oil intake in the United Kingdom has improved by 20% last year. Most people don't realize that 40% of all the olive oil consumption in America is done within a 100-mile radius of New York City. Some of the big players in olive oil are Italy, the biggest manufacturer, Spain being the biggest grower. So these are some statistics you learn about oil, and in that process, there's some fudging that's going on. It's become such a global industry that everybody understands the taste effects of it, and people are touting health effects, so therefore it's a frenzy to get good olive oil. And I think a lot of manufacturers have used that as an opportunity to bolster their profits by implementing certain practices that are not really healthy for you. So today, my biggest goal was to educate the average consumer on how to choose a good olive oil, how to use it, and why to understand the grades of olive oil. And if I may talk about the grades real quick, it's very important to understand that according to the International Olive Oil Council, there are 4 grades of olive oil. The first grade of oil would be called first cold-pressed extra virgin. This is the finest grade of oil that you can find. It's actually hand-picked at an estate in Europe predominantly, and it is pressed within 48 hours, and it's the first extraction of that oil, which gives you all the flavor, all the qualities, and the best acidity rate that you can find in an oil, which is super important to your health and to your table taste. The second grade would be extra virgin, being extra virgin is the second pressing of oil, which is still a good grade of oil, but it's not as good a quality as the first pressing. Sometimes there is a mechanical process involved in the second pressing that exceeds 86 degrees, which would therefore be rendered as non-cold press. So it's very important to understand that, the machinery that's used, because once you put heat to this live enzymic product, you distort nature's qualities and you distort the flavor. So the third pressing of the oil in the Italian culture would be called the pumice or pomace. Now the pumice pressing is a rather injurious pressing in that it's not really meant for human consumption. They utilize 2 highly toxic chemicals to extract the last bit of oil out of that pulp that remains in the machinery. And they also put heat to the oil, so it becomes very acidic. You'll know a pumice oil when you taste it. You'll put it in your finger, or you'll taste it, and it'll go to the back of your throat, and it'll give it a real harsh stinging effect. You really want to stay away from that. And last but not least is Lampante grade, which is the 4th grade. And Lampante grade is basically an oil that's inedible. It's made for industrial use, and you want to discard that. And Lampante in Italian means lamp oil. It's what the Italians or Middle Easterns used to put in their lamps in biblical days. It's not what you want to eat. So it's very important to read your bottle and understand the grade you're getting. Here's the misnomer in this industry, which infuriates me to a bit as a consumer, as a father, and a cook. USDA inspects oil when it comes from overseas. The containers come to New Jersey or Wilmington, and they open the doors, and the FDA inspector's there, and he's got his checkboard and his white coat, and he's looking for the labeling and the disclosure of the fat content, nutritional label, and he sees all the nomenclatures in place, and he says, check, great. First cold press, extra virgin. Okay, boys, let her go through. And you would think it's safe for your usage. Sadly, the FDA or other governing agencies do not test the chemical quality of the oil. They don't do an analysis on its purity and its authenticity. So we're left up to the honesty of the importers to give us a pure product. Sadly, most, I didn't say all, most of the products utilized in supermarkets, the big shopping clubs you belong to where you buy the gallon for $12, those oils undoubtedly are a blend. And blends, as you may know, are injurious to your health. I utilize a perfect monosaturated fat oil in that it's hand-picked from Europe, and it's pressed within 48 hours. It's never filtered, it's never heated, it's never blended, it's never compromised. Whereas all these other oils, predominantly on the shelf, are infused, get this folks, with soybean and hazelnut oil. Reason being is because they are a odorless, tasteless oil that manufacturers can cut the product and stretch their profits. And to me, that is really dishonest. And I'm not trying to bash importers. I'm saying you deserve a good, wholesome product, just as your neighbors would want to seek out grass-fed beef or Atlantic-raised salmon, wild-caught. These are the buzzwords in health industries today. I'm not necessarily touting organic whole foods today or health foods. I'm touting a good product that you can be sure of is good for you and not damaging your body.
So let's talk about how you use it, because I think there's the confusion there a little bit too about what grade you use for what, and I know you've got some different ones here. Do you want to kind of tell us about that?
I do. These are some of the typical brands that you might use, in the supermarket. Some of the big importers come in containers like this, and I want to educate you. Now, I bought this one here not to try to denigrate any particular brand, but I bought this, and it's nearly a half liter of extra virgin olive oil. And living in Europe and going to 40 presses over the course of a year and understanding the wholesale cost of oil, it is impossible for a manufacturer to put a half a liter of olive oil in this size bottle being pure and sell it for $4.99, because I know that the wholesale price of this oil from the press is well over 8 to 10 euros for a half a liter. So it's very expensive. So I'm a little concerned about the authenticity of certain oils. One oil you definitely want to stay away from, and I'm certainly not trying to bash in industries or farmers, because this product doesn't come from a farm. It's called canola oil. Canola oil for years was taught by the health industry, even people in health food stores, is very good for you. It's better than olive oil. Well, the news is out that canola oil is not really a natural product. Canola oil, there's no such thing as a canola plant, let's just say that. Canola oil is a laboratory-created product. It is actually an oil that is a byproduct from the manufacturing of insecticides. It was used as the main component in mustard gas during World War I. It has many, many destructive properties to your body. I would highly suggest doing some Google searching on canola and its derogatory effects on your body, and realize that what we've been told is actually a misnomer. Again, here's a California brand of extra virgin olive oil. Yes, California does make oil for the last 30 years. The majority of their species or plants, trees, came from Europe, Spain and Italy, and they were infused in California soil. They make an excellent oil. It's a bit pricey. It has a more lighter, fruitier taste versus your oils that are imported from the old country. The old country oils have more of a patina to them and a little more hearty, stronger olive oil flavor. And this here is one of your typical bottles you'll find in the supermarket for $12.95, insinuating extra virgin cold press. So just about these products, you could go to these stores today and you can go to what's called olive oil boutique shops. And some of these places will charge you $20 for a bottle that's 1/3 this size for pure oil. And you're probably getting the right oil, but you're going to pay. Your health is worth it, and if it costs you 20% more to get good oil, I would suggest that you switch over immediately to a hand-picked estate oil because the flavor's there, your health is worth it, and I personally use this brand here, which is called Vita Bella. I happen to own the brand. I've been manufacturing for 7 years, and this is a 750 milliliter bottle of Vita Bella, and it's an estate oil from Avellino, Italy. I'm members of the co-op there, and we have a great relationship. We harvest in December, and it's a superb product. And this bottle retails for $17.99. If you're in the valley, it ships for about $6 or $7. And I have a trial size bottle for $8.99 of the same product in a roughly 200 milliliter fashion with the artisan cork on it.
Now, someone can go to the website and they could order that if they wanted to, correct?
They can. You go to Newburgh Deli, NEWBURG, deli.com. And
it's on the screen.
PayPal, and we'll send it out to you. A lot of folks come in.
Okay, so we're running out of time on this segment. So what we want to do is tell us how we use this stuff, and what is he going to show us today?
Excellent. Well, today's applications are going to be predominantly a cold utilization of good oil. A lot of folks don't really know this, but olive oil can make a great appetizer for any pre-dinner setting. So what we do in European culture, and definitely in American culture, is we drizzle oil on a plate. And then we do a simple utilization of salt and pepper and maybe a light bit of garlic powder. Notice the garlic is always bigger than the salt and pepper. Okay, and then you take your favorite bread, in this case it's baguette bread or a crusty Italian bread, and you dip it in the bread and you proceed to eat it just like that, and it becomes an excellent tasty treat or an antipasto in certain cultures. If you want to step it up a notch, they have in America or across the world what's called infused oils. Now, infused oils is when you take a pure olive oil and you mix it with herbs, and you're going to infuse that product to change its taste component. So in this case, we'll put a little bit more oil on the plate, and I have rendered some fresh cut rosemary, fresh parsley, and oregano into that oil, and I've made it now an infused oil. Typically, you can put it in one of your smaller olive oil bottles, put the herbs in the bottle, maybe sometimes a little bit of crushed red pepper if you like the zing, and you can shake it, let it sit for several days, and it really becomes a tasty application for marinades and bread applications. Now, thirdly, what I'd like to share with you on the oil is a cold salad application. In this instance, we have a caprese salad, which is very popular in the European culture, becoming kind of mainstream in America. Let me just stir my final products here, so we're on target for the last demo. Okay. The caprese salad consists of fresh mozzarella, basil, tomato, and I've laced some fresh prosciutto within, which is a fine cured Italian ham within the salad, and then you want to drizzle liberally this gorgeous first press organic olive oil from Italy. You want a slight pepper and slight salt. No garlic application on this product. It'll definitely compete with those other bursting flavors. This is a awesome process, and you can serve unoiled application series of olive oil would be in a marinating process. Most people don't know that using olive oil in a marinade is a very good thing. Why? Number one is because the herbs and the salt and the spices get to stick to the meat product when you're marinating. Also, olive oil has a lot of enzymic qualities, and the enzymes actually allow the proteins in the meat or the fish to break down a little faster, because meat is muscle. We don't want toughness in meat. Therefore, olive oil lends a breaking down process. And let's face it, when you grill a piece of meat with olive oil, especially first cold press, you've got an awesome crust, and the flavor is just there. In this case, I've made a marinade of white wine, water, and lemon juice. It's a special marinade, and then you want to add some fresh chopped ginger to it. Obviously, some good garlic, fresh cut garlic. I do put a bit of pimento in there. A bit of pimento, pardon the hands, but we're in a hurry here. You definitely want a little bit of crushed red pepper, parsley. In this case, I use sea salt. I'm not big on iodized. Sea salt's much healthier, or Himalayan salt. A little bit of garlic powder. And then you can take that marinade and you can give it a nice gentle shake to it in a separate container. And in this case, I have a piece of chicken. Let me get a fork. Get a piece of chicken. And for your chicken, you want to use a couture. If you don't have a couture, a French gabber, if you will, you can use a fork to tenderize any piece of meat like that. And then you want to pour that marinade over there with that lemon juice and the olive oil in there. I've already pre-olive oiled the chicken, so I put a little more on top there to guarantee its marinating process. And there you let that soak for roughly several hours if you can, if not overnight, and it'll have a pre-cooking effect to it, and it's perfect for the grill. You will wow your guests with that product. Finally, we're going to use olive oil in a similar cold cooking fashion by making a green bean, garlic, pimento salad. In this case, it's great for the summer. It's got a nice look to it. It's very healthy. Remember, you want to maintain the chlorophyll qualities and the plant qualities of the olive oil. So in this case, you're going to get steamed green beans. You want them al dente, just slightly cooked, slightly firm. You don't want to kill them and boil them for 6 hours. You want to put sauteed pimento and garlic on those green beans like so. And then you want to drizzle the green beans liberally with olive oil. This is the standard, the SPG in the gourmet food world: salt, pepper, slight garlic powder, and then you want to toss them lightly in there. This salad goes right into the refrigerator. You didn't put heat to that oil. You saved the nutritional quality of that oil. Can't you just smell the aroma of that olive oil on top of a steamed green product? And it just brightens your day up. It gives you a healthier product. Let that chill for roughly 4 to 5 hours and serve as an appetizer or as an accompanying vegetable to any main meal. So what we demonstrated today is how to use olive oil in a non-cooking fashion. And it's a marvelous product. If you're not using olive oil right now in its purest form and using an estate oil for such things, you need to really try that. And next time we meet, I'd like to talk to you about how to cook with olive oil with a couple of various dishes that are quick, easy, and affordable for your family.
Well, Mario, as always, thank you. We're out of time. We've got to go. But if someone wants to know more about this, obviously the Newburgh Deli, Mario is the chef. Come in for a cheesesteak, come in for food, but you will find
We're catering.
You're more than happy to explain to people how to cook, because that's your passion in life.
Love talking olive oil.
Wrap it up, final word. What should people think about? They're thinking about olive oil. They can purchase this at the Newburgh Deli.
Sure.
It's a special oil that you have for these purposes. Stop in and get it.
Excellent. Come on and see my wife and myself. Love to talk to you and become friends and become part of the Newburgh Deli family. And we just appreciate the opportunity to meet you and share this good information with you.
At
Agentis Plumbing, we offer residential, commercial, and industrial plumbing services, which include plumbing repair and installation, water heater repair and installation, including tankless water heaters, water softening systems and reverse osmosis systems, water and sewer line repair and replacement, faucet repair and replacement, and sewer, drain clean, camera and line location, and emergency plumbing services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Whatever your needs, give Agentis Plumbing a call today. On this segment, we're at Sawmill Golf Course in Easton, a golf course that not only is exciting to play, but it's been a dream for a long time for Mr. Dick Field. And Dick, thank you again for being with us on the program. We've talked about this before, but this, if you look back in time, what did this look like?
It was a rundown farm to start off with, that's all.
Somehow you had a vision about putting together, how did you see a golf course emerging out of this farm? And somehow in your mind you could see that.
Oh, you have to do a lot of looking to see it first. You have to see the lay of the land and where the greens should be or could be, and just have to put it all together. It took a lot of time for me.
Do you remember what year you started?
1965 I bought this place. The year.
Telling, I think on some of the other programs we talked about, you had the whole family walking through picking up rocks.
Yeah, right, but they all helped all along, and Nancy is still with me to keep it going. So
Nancy's your daughter, and Nancy now is kind of the marketing director and in charge.
She's everything now. She's chief cook and bottle washer. That's her. She's doing a good job too. So
well, let's talk about the course for a minute, because when people come here, it's laid out uniquely. The greens look great. Describe it. How's it? Okay, I know the first 9, back 9.
Well, the first 9 we finished in 1987, and then I got working on the back 9, and that took me another 10 years to get that done. But it's a lot of work doing it right, and everything was done right. We built all the greens to USGA specifications so that they would be playable all year long, and after a rain there's no problem. So all the hard work paid off. It's coming along good yet.
How would you describe the first 9? I mean, it's kind of, is it like most courses, warm up time and then the back 9 get tougher?
Pretty much. The front 9 is pretty much in the level part of it, and nothing too out of order with it, but the back 9 we had some choice spots that we used that turned out pretty good for the overall layout.
So when somebody comes here, I mean, whether they're a first-time golfer or whether they've been golfing for a long time, it can challenge them.
Yes, nobody eats the place up. You know, they have to work for it. We have some good golfers who can score pretty well, but for the most part, it's user-friendly. Okay, it doesn't intimidate people and make them not want to come back. We want them to come back, and with the layout we have, they keep coming back. They aren't driven away by unruly greens or anything that's unfair.
Seems like a very happy crowd when I come here. They're all happy, and you know, I know it's affordable. It's a very affordable price.
Right.
That was important to you.
That's the most important, really. If it isn't affordable, then you're not going to get young people or beginners. They don't want to drop $100 to play a round of golf. Here they can come for a fraction of that, and if they aren't good, they're still welcome here, and they can take their time and enjoy themselves. I want it to be enjoyable. That's the main thing.
Any final words or anything we left out that you'd like to say, you know, to the community about the golf course?
It's been everything I hoped it would be when I started work. It's been a lot of work, but it's been very satisfying to see people come here and enjoy themselves.
We've been joined by Nancy, and Nancy, you know, your dad was just talking about how much you mean to him and what goes on here at the course, and I know you're working diligently day-to-day operations, but let's talk about tournaments here, because there's a couple things we didn't mention with your father. One is there's a new addition going on here for people to have parties and tournaments and things. Tell us a little bit about that.
We just finished. We're coming down to the wire now, finishing up what will be the loft at Sawmill, with the second floor of the clubhouse, which used to be basically a hayloft. He kept the features of it, and we can seat probably 150 people for banquets, parties, whatever.
As we're talking, they're seeing that. Boy, it is beautiful. The flooring, everything. It's a great place to have a party. Is it something that is catered here? Is that how that works?
Yes, that's what we will be working with local caterers.
So if somebody has somebody in mind, they bring them with them, or you provide that?
Both, yeah, either way. We're going to have a list of caterers that we use, or if somebody has something in mind, we can work with that also.
How about tournaments now? There are tournaments that go on throughout the year, things that are run here, women's leagues, men's leagues, things like that. Just mention that, and then if somebody has an idea and wants to start something, what they would do.
Yeah, we have our senior league on Monday. We have a men's league. We have a ladies league. We have our tournaments. We have our breast cancer tournament every July. We have our course championships in August. We welcome groups to come in. We have groups that come in every year from different places that have tournaments here and fundraisers, and we can help you set one up, or if you know what you want to do, we can work with you to to schedule it, and everybody seems very happy when we have those tournaments.
Final word. What do we want to leave everybody thinking about? It's Sawmill. It's part of your life, part of your family, but yet it's a really neat course. Just in a final word, let people know what you think about it.
Sawmill is family. The employees are like family. The people that come here, we're not just any other golf course. We care about all the people that come in beyond their golf score, and it's a very happy, comfortable atmosphere, and it's just such a great place to be, really.
We've now been joined by Ann Francisco, and Ann, thank you for taking a minute to be with us. You have been around this golf course for a very long time. Tell us about yourself and a little bit about your history here.
Well, I started in the first women's league in 1987, and I golfed a couple years, and then I went to work, and then I came back 7 years ago, and I played today in the ladies league.
What do you like about Sawmill Golf Course?
Well, I like it because it's women friendly. The holes aren't real long. Like, I've golfed all over the Poconos and all over, around here within an hour, and some of the Pocono ones, you can't reach them with a driver, average woman.
Yeah.
And these I can reach with a driver,
Sure. We've now been joined by Mr. Phil Mittman, and Phil, thank you for taking a minute to be with us. You're out here on the golf course.
I sure am on this golf course. What's interesting about this Sawmill course is that it has quite a few challenges, but the Fields family started it in, I think, 1965, and it's just gotten better all the time. I just started playing golf 2 years ago, but it's a blast for me and the guys I come out with. My wife Linda doesn't golf yet.
So do you come out often?
I come out at least once a week, sometimes twice, because I come out with other guys, and sometimes I come out by myself just to really practice. Art, it is really a position golfer's course. It may not be as long as some others, but you got to be on the course because the fairways are pretty tight. There are a number of hills, and there are a number of things that kick to the right. So it's a position golf. So it's great practice and makes you really work.
Walking around on a beautiful day at the golf course, ran into Mr. Tom Evans. And Tom, what are you doing here today?
Playing some golf with my wife.
Now, we're at Sawmill Golf Course, and you are retired from your other position, but what was that position?
I was the superintendent of schools at Easton.
I'm sure that was an adventure for you.
Oh, yes. Kept me busy.
How many years did you do that?
Well, I was in the district 24 years. I was a superintendent for about 2.5 before I retired, but I was the principal of the high school for 13 years.
Now, what brings you out to Sawmill Golf Course?
Chance to relax in a beautiful atmosphere.
What do you think of the course?
It's a great course. It really is. It's challenging. But I like the relaxed atmosphere. The people here are very friendly, and everybody that plays here is extremely courteous. So it makes for a very relaxing and pleasant experience.
Searching for the best educational experience for your child in the Lehigh Valley? At St. Michael the Archangel, we will assist your child in reaching their full potential in a safe, nurturing environment where respect and safety are our priority. We don't just teach students, we inspire leaders by developing strong Christian values while achieving academic excellence. St. Michael the Archangel School, nurturing students, challenging minds, inspiring faith-filled leaders. St. Michael the Archangel School, the total package.